Happy Saturday, everyone. We got Pose for Kids coming at you today. We got a fun AMRAP. I hope you guys enjoy this. There's lots going on. And yeah, we'll get to that right away. But before we do, plank lean for 2. Down dog, 3 to 5 reps in that little complex. Prone shoulder raise of 6 to 10 alternating reps. Humeral glides, knee push-up just to wake up that pressing arm again. And then our arch up for 10. So we're just going to really work on getting that upper body kind of fired up a little bit, that core fired up, and that back a little bit awake as well. We got 1 to 2 rounds of that piece. We're going to move into the bottom piece, which is going to be a floor pike hold of 10 to 30 seconds, lateral ski jump of 20 seconds, jump squat for 20 seconds, and then a crab toe touch for 6 to 10 alternating reps. And I'll walk you guys through that. It's a fun little movement. Our work set today is an AMRAP for 20 minutes. So you're going to get a few cycles through this work set, but it's going to be a good time. We got box handstand walk of 4 alternating reps, and I'll show you different variations of this on a box, on the floor. It's a fun time. Challenging, but a fun time. Then we have a med ball lateral step over, or a loaded lateral ski jump, or of some sort. And I'll show you a couple different options you can play with this. The loading is going to be light, so we want to make sure that we keep a light load for this. But we're looking at nice smooth step over for 12 alternating reps. From there, we have a plank to down dog to side plank for 8 alternating reps. So we have a nice smooth flow, and then we finish off with 16 jump squats. So it's going to be a nice opportunity to play with some different movement, have some fun with that, and see where it takes you. I'm also going to show you a different variation of the jump squat. If you'd like to do that instead, it's going to involve a dumbbell clean, but a funky dumbbell clean. So I'll show you that one as we get going. And you can make your choice on where you want to live with that. And then you're going to AMRAP that bad boy for 20 minutes, keeping it smooth, keeping it clean, having a good time. Now, let's get you warmed up. Let's have some fun. Celebrate this Pose for Kid fundraiser. All right, you guys, let's get some movement going. Let's get our feet under those hips. We'll take the arms big and tall overhead. We're going to stretch it to one side. Stretch it to the other side. We'll come back through, little shrug. Come back down, all the way down to the floor. We're going to touch those toes. We're going to walk with those shins. We'll come back down, freedom foot. We're going to step back into your lizard. Nice square hips. We're going to lower that back knee, press that hip. We're going to come back to center, press that hip to center, and press that hip back to center. We'll straighten the leg, step back into your down dog. Reaching those hips nice and high. We'll walk the heels nice and slow, nice and steady. From here, we'll come back into our plank. Step that other foot up. Nice and square in those hips. We'll lower the knee. Press the hip. Come back through. Press the hip. Back through. And press the hip. Back through. Straightening out that leg. We'll step back into that down dog as we reach those hips. Walking those legs back and forth, nice and easy. Then come back through into that plank, tiptoeing those feet up. We're going to roll ourselves all the way up, big tall stretch. Little reach, little reach. We'll come back down with those hands. Have some fun today. Now, if you have any extra movement to get yourself moving with, pause the video, take it down now. Come back and join me. We're going to get that upper body and core fired up a little bit. All right, we're going to kickstart off our warm-up with our plank lean to down dog. So what we're looking at here, I'm going to face the camera for this one. So my hands just outside my shoulders. I'm going to push the floor away a bit to get that protraction, pull the ribs in. I'm going to lean a little bit to the left, keeping that pressure through the floor, the arms and the floor. Lean to the right. I'm going to come back to center. I'm going to pull back into my down dog. So I'm really setting those shoulders well, pushing through the floor, and keeping that shoulder rolling away from each other. Once I come back into that plank again, my whole body moves as one, my whole body moves as one. I come back to center and then shift into the down dog. So it's very important that we keep that pressure into the floor as we shift back and forth. Once we move into the down dog, we're always pressing into the floor again, still in that overhead position, which will pay off later on in our work set that's coming up our way a little bit later. So take your time, focus on those shoulders. Once we're done now, we're going to lay on our stomach. So you can give yourself a little eccentric down to the floor. Arms are going to reach out straight ahead. Toes pressing into the floor. Armpits are going to press down. Those ribs pull in, and I feel that good engagement all the come back down, pressing to the floor. Lift that hand up and come back down. We're going to alternate that back and forth, trying to keep my body square to the floor and that nice solid hollow so that we're not arching. That's coming afterwards at the end of our work set, but we're trying to stay in that nice hollow and that nice position for our shoulders. Once I'm done my 6 to 10, I'm going to pull my hands into my chest and I'm going to get my wrist stacked under my elbow. And we're not doing any pressing today, but after yesterday, this will be nice just to move our shoulders around a bit. So we're going to pull our shoulders forward. We're going to pull our shoulders back. And then we're going to pull the ribs into that hollow. Push to the knees. And then in that knee plank, I'm going to reset my core if I need to. I'm going to lower forward and down, chest touches, and then I relax at the bottom. I'll reset the tension and the position, ribs, and I push. So I'm going to work on that good control. Again, just waking up the body after yesterday's presses and push-ups. This would be a nice way to wake things up a bit. Now from here, I'm going to come back out into my straight long arm position. Toes are going to come together. I'm going to work on 10 arch-ups. So I'm going to inhale, reach my arms, reach my legs away from each other. Exhale down. Inhale, reach. Exhale down. Now with both hands and feet, a little hard to do, what we can do is inhale one side, come back down, inhale the other side, working on that unilateral work in that arch up. And you'll just do 10 total count reps, which works out to 5 and 5. Now with that phase, we're looking at getting as long as we can in that arch. Don't worry necessarily about trying to come up. Think about reaching long, and that's what will bring you up into that nice arch position. So again, as a quick recap, we have our plank leaning to down dog, 3 to 5 reps. We have our prone shoulder raise, 6 to 10 alternating reps. Humeral glide to knee push-up for 3. Again, this is just to stretch out those arms. No pushing today. And then we have our arch up for 10, or single or alternating arch up for 10 if you'd like to do that instead. 1 to 2 rounds to get that body moving around a little bit, get things feeling pretty good. We're going to move into the bottom phase, which is going to continue working on the upper body and then get some jumping going on in there. So pause the video, take down that first piece, get that core fired up, get those shoulders ready. The next phase is going to be a little bit more dynamic. Alright, you guys, our next phase of work is going to kickstart off with a little mini handstand hold, which is our floor pike hold. So I'm going to come down into my tabletop. I'm going to bring my knees together, my toes together. My hands are going to be underneath of my shoulders. I'm going to push the floor away, pull my ribs in, and then I'm going to lift my hips up to the sky, reaching and pressing through those arms, actively pressing the floor away. Now I'm trying to load my shoulders through this pike hold. So I need to think pushing into my toes a little bit to keep my body forward, opposed to falling back into my feet, which would be more like a down dog. So we want to make sure that we're pushing our toes, pushing our body into our shoulders to keep that tension, to keep that engagement. Now from that, we have a 10 to 30 second hold. So preferably, again, if you can't hold for 30 seconds, hold what you can in terms of that engaged position. If you feel your shoulders disengage or your core disengage, come out of it, maybe bank 30 seconds in time, or take the hold that you're comfortable holding and continue on from there. We get to stand up after that and work our lateral ski jump, and this might actually be used in our workout a little bit later on. So something we can practice right now is an unloaded variation where we pull everything in, swing those arms, get that body going, and get that nice leap. Or, if you're not a jumper, you can work on that swing step, swing step, swing step, and work that back and forth. Now, if you're not a jumper and you're like, I want to kind of get into that little jumping bit there, laterally, cut the jump down a little bit. So instead of trying to go super far, make it a little smaller jump, and build that comfort, build that distance over time as your body starts to get used to it a little bit more. So take your time with that. There's nothing wrong with doing the step. It gets everything we need, moving the body back and forth, training the body to use all that momentum, that whole body, instead of just trying to reach with the leg. It gets everything involved and gets really efficient. Now from there we move into our jump squat. So if you're like, I'm not ready to jump squat yet, I need a little bit more squatting time, that's fine. What you can work on is building that jump squat. And I'm going to show you 3 different variations of how you can do that, starting with the air squat. So my feet are going to be in my regular squat stance, so hip to shoulder width apart. Feet are flat. I'm going to draw my hips towards my heels. My feet are going to be nice and flat, and my knees are going to track those toes. So I'm going to get that nice squat, nice smooth flow, stand tall. Now our next phase is actually going to get a little bit more explosive, but we're not going to leave the ground. So I'm going to squat normal, drive up, and pull down. And then I can stand up, or I can just drive right back into the next one and continue on. So we're trying to drive hard. We get that full extension. When we hit that extension and our heels come up, we pull ourselves down right away, back into that good squat again. So we're just not getting that lift, but we are getting a little bit of explosive hip and knee extension. Now our last variation is going to look very similar to that, except I'm going to leave the ground. So squat, I drive, 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 and I work through that jump squat. So I'm not trying to jump super high. I'm working on a full squat, big drive, and I pull right back down into my good squat mechanics and hit that good position to deliver the next rep. So focus on that, pull into that good rep, and on that last one, pull into that good squat, and then just stand. After that though, we do get to sit down, and this is kind of a fun movement, and it's a little different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit on our butt. We're gonna get our feet kind of set up like we would do a bridge, okay? My one hand is gonna be to the back, my other hand is gonna be to the back. So I have my fingers pointing out to the side. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into a crab extension, but not a full crab extension. So full crab extension will be coming and turning ourselves into a table. What we're trying to do is come up and do a crab toe touch. And what does that look like? We will come up, straighten the leg, come down. Up and in. Up and in. Straighten the leg, come down. Straighten the leg, come down. And if you're looking at that going, no, that's not happening, you can also play around with just working on straighten, down, straighten, down, straighten, down. You can also work on touching the knee, and working your way down the shin as far down as you feel comfortable, holding that kind of 2-point balance. It's kind of a fun little movement, a little bit of chance to work on some off balance kind of stability work and just get into a good flow. We've got 6 to 10 alternating reps. Again, like our plank shoulder touches, to make them harder, go slower. To make them a little smoother and faster, makes it a little bit easier because it's less time under tension. But if you want to make it really challenging, hold for a beat, and work back and forth with a little pause on both touches. Either way is fine by me. They both offer a slightly different kind of stimulus, and they're both just as fun. So I hope you enjoy that. Our next phase of that warm-up consists again as a floor pike hold, 10 to 30 seconds, lateral ski jump for 20 seconds, jump squat for 20 seconds, crab toe touch for 6 to 10, alternating 2 to 3 rounds, get that core fired up, get some jumping moving, all right, and then we're gonna move into some practice movement. So get ourselves fired up and ready to go. All right, everyone. All right, everyone. Our last phase, our little practice round to get the movement set up for you guys. We have our box handstand walk for 4 alternating reps. So what I have first off is our box variation. What we are going to do is we are going to get ourselves feet up on the box, into my plank. I'm going to walk my hands into my little box handstand, keeping my body nice and stacked. I'm going to walk over to one side, walk back to the middle. Now that would be considered 1 rep. So to one side and back is 1. Then I would go to the other side and back, 2. And you'll do that for 4 total count reps. Now if you're looking at that going, Yeah, I don't know about doing that in a handstand position. Well, put your feet up on the box and we can rock it in a plank position. So we get ourselves in an elevated plank, nice and stacked. I'm going to walk all the way over to the side, walk over to the side, and then bring my feet down if I need to. That again would be 1 rep. Now, that same thing can be taken all the way down to the floor. So we can take that, we can get rid of the box or the apparatus. If we don't have one, all good. You can put your feet on the floor, walk it out to one side, walk it back to center. To the other side, back to center. So we always have one starting point in the middle, and then we go to one side for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it doesn't matter if you have an apparatus to put your feet on, if you're vertical, horizontal, we just want to do some walking, okay, and play around with that little hand walking kind of exercise. So we got 4 reps total count of our box handstand walk, or box plank walk, or plank walk, and have fun. Lots of different options. Play with it, have some fun with it, take it to wherever you need to. You can use like 2 inches. It still loads the shoulders just a little bit more. Now our next movement is a lateral med ball step over. But we're actually stepping over a box and holding onto a med ball. So you can actually do this with a weight, right? Now if lateral step overs are hard enough without load, don't worry about loading this. But what we're gonna work on is holding our weight, and we're going to take that ball, and as we come up, we start on the top, we come down, we turn with the weight, turn with the weight, turn with the weight. So we're turning towards that leg with the weight or with our apparatus that we're using. Could be a dumbbell, could be a medicine ball, could be a sandbag, something that's pretty light that you can move well and smooth with. And now if you're comfortable doing a little rotation with as you go side to side. So you're always trying to bring that weight towards that balancing leg. Now, like I said before, if you're not comfortable with lateral step overs and you're like, loading, no. Normal lateral step overs is fine. You can do what I was just doing there with empty hands and add in that little rotation and have a little bit of fun with the rotation without any external loading. So that's totally fine by me to get that little rotation stimulus in there. Now, same idea, what we can work on if we're comfortable with this, we can work on a slightly loaded lateral ski. So we can have a light dumbbell, we take it from the hip, up and over, to the hip, up and over, hip, hip. We can do that with a lateral ski. We can even do it with a lateral step over. So we come through, working with a little bit of rotation, going to that leg, and working on a little bit of light rotation all the way down to a lateral step over a dumbbell, if you'd like to do that with a hurdle. So we have our lateral step over with rotation and load, lateral step over with rotation without load, just empty hand. We have lateral step over, some loaded ski jumps if you'd like, or ski jumps, and we have a nice rotation with load, dumbbell step over, or a dumbbell step over without load. So lots of different options to play with there. You guys can kind of experiment with that. The rotation is very subtle. We're just kind of pulling it to the hip on the floor and working on just holding that little bit there and then exploding, and then exploding, and exploding. So you have your choice to load it or not. Our next exercise is a really cool little flow. We've done this before. We're going to hit ourselves in a plank position, and our feet are going to be bladed. We're going to pull back and into a down dog, and then we're going to rotate into a side plank. That would be 1. We'll come back through, pull back into your down dog, and then come back into your side plank for 2. Now, if you need to, you can come back into your down dog, lower your knee, open up into your side plank, come back into your down dog. Lower the knee, turn into that side plank, and then come back up into that down dog. So there's lots of different ways to play with that. You can also go into a bear squat if you'd like to work the bear squat into the side plank as well. So the bear squat gives you a little bit more loading in the shoulder, a little more compression in the knee and the ankle. So if you'd like to play with that, you're more than welcome to. It's going to be a nice smooth flow. After all that work though, it might be a little tiring, so if you do have to take a break them up, you're more than welcome to. We have a beautiful set of 8 alternating reps. So that's total count of 4 per side, alternating back and forth. Now our last exercise is our jump squat. So you can do an air squat, non-jumping jump squat, full jump squat, but I also have another option with the dumbbell, and it's a very kind of similar to a med ball clean, but with the dumbbell. So I'm going to grab myself a med ball, and I'm going to walk you through that right away. All right, I got my dumbbell ready to go. So this is another option in place of the jump squat if you'd like to work with this. We get ourselves set up over top of the dumbbell, so it's right underneath of my body. I come down, and I grab one end of the bell. I take hold, I pull it up, pull under, into a goblet position, and stand. And then I come back down, and do it again. So from the front, I come down, take hold, up, come back up, back down with good position. So it's very similar to our med ball clean, but we're working on getting that goblet squat into position. So it's going to challenge the core and the arms a slightly different way than kind of a traditional dumbbell clean. So if you're interested in that, have some fun with it. You can make it relatively heavy if you'd like as well. It's challenging, it's fun, but it definitely does challenge the legs a little bit. So be prepared for that. You got 16 of those, or you can use one of our jump squat variations to get your body moving in that good squat mechanics. So again, with this workout, we have an AMRAP of 20 minutes, box handstand walk for 4 alternating reps, or whatever variation you're taking down, med ball lateral step over, right? Taking whatever variation we went through down for you. You can load it, not load it, whatever you like. We have 12 alternating reps. Plank to down dog plus side plank. We have 8 alternating reps, and we have a jump squat variation or our dumbbell clean with this goblet style receiving position for 16 reps. You're going to repeat that for 20 minutes. This may not be a high scoring AMRAP, and you might have to break some things down, but that's okay. It'll be a lot of fun and just a different way to take on some of our more classically used movements. Now I hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. If you'd like to help and donate to Coats for Kids, you can send an e-transfer. You can get in touch with us. Let us know if you have any coats to bring in. Let us know. We can make that available. We won't be taking them until later in the week, but let me know. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend, a fantastic Saturday, and we'll see you on Monday, leading you into the holiday season. Bye, you guys.